All right. So I've heard that this one has been pretty good so far. Saved it for this recording. 13 minutes of Tico talks. From what I've heard, it's been a lot of good things. And to be fair, a lot of the Tico talks have been really good things. About like 99.9% of them probably.
What's up,
So
gamers? Welcome
hopefully
back
this
to
one's
Tico
good.
Talks Throne and Liberty. I'm Tico, Global and Design Manager at Amazon Games for Throne and Liberty. The Wilds of Tandre, our first major expansion, arrives on March 6th, and your excitement for it has been incredible. Let's dive into everything that's coming. On March 6th, you'll have access to a huge new territory called Tandre, which doubles the size of the current map. It comes complete with a new adventure and exploration codex, a narrative arc to follow,
slightly
a unique
smaller.
new solo dungeon experience with 2
What
bosses
the hell is this?
and 3 of our most challenging co-op dungeons to date. You'll be able to reach the new level 55 cap, start working on your epic tier 2 gear set, and grow your fishing and cooking skills to level 25. You'll also be able to begin your journey with our new weapon mastery system. Then,
This is really good. The weapon masteries are pretty much like a huge reset for everybody, and I think it's a really good move in the right direction because now anybody can just like go into any weapon without having to worry too much about mastery, right? Like about their masteries getting cooked. So I think it's a really good move. Makes it easier for people to diversify their builds as the game goes on, which does give like a lot of incentive for like player retention because then they don't have to feel too much grief if they go into like the wrong spec.
1 week later, on March 13th,
So that's really good.
we'll release 2 more 3-star dungeons, 2 additional bosses for the solo dungeon, and introduce Nebula Island, along with the new artifact system for another form of power progression. We believe this approach to
I'm
releasing
fucking hyped for that.
content will help players enjoy their journey with a little bit less pressure during those opening weeks. After that, on March 27th, we're introducing Trait Resonance with adjustments for more direct player control, epic grade runes, and
With adjustments. So resonance system is kind of like the end game, like min-max. So if they plan on making it easier so it's less frustrating and a lot less of a solent sink, because the way that you get the materials for like the resonance stuff is basically you're putting equipment into the Gamba machine, right? And that costs a lot of solent. So yeah, hopefully they kind of like streamline that a little bit more, so even new players coming into the game have an easier time catching up with like resonance and stuff. Because let's be honest, like as an end game player, I could care less how easy it is for people to catch up, for people who just started to catch up. Because at the end of the day, I just want content. I just want competition. And if that competition comes in the form of like new players who want to play the game and get to like where I am, like gear wise, like gear score wise at the very least, a lot easier, then I'm all for that, because that means it's just going to be a lot healthier for the game in general.
the second seasons of Dimensional Trials and Ranked Arena. So focus on gearing up those first 3 weeks to be ready for that fierce leaderboard climb. The Wilds of Tandre release delivers over 6 months of content packed into our first expansion. I also want to confirm that a fresh set of milestones will arrive with Tandre,
Okay.
and we'll share those details before release so that you
So
can
we
plan
won't
your
get
journey.
Crimson Manor.
Let's talk Mega
Soonish.
Alliances. On March 6th, field boss encounters are being restructured with 3 portal options for instance boss fights. At their best, alliances give players access to something Throne and Liberty does better than any other MMO: intense, epic scale PvP, where strategy and
Bro, who plays like this, bro?
coordination amongst hundreds of players reigns supreme. But at their worst, they can lead to content gatekeeping and, perhaps most importantly, a lack of meaningful competition. Before going further, I want to be clear. Our goal is not to remove all access to large-scale epic battles. However, we
Okay,
do
go on.
recognize that some changes are needed for the overall health of the game and our servers. So, field boss encounters are being restructured with 3 portal options: Peace, Faction, and Guild. The Peace portal leads to an instance PvE fight, keeping pre-formed parties together. The Faction portal creates instanced PvP, VE battles where players will be randomly matched onto 2 teams while still keeping pre-formed parties together. So this is an ideal option for smaller groups wanting PvP action. Both of
Okay.
these modes match players across all servers within a single region, and both have a 96 player limit per instance. The Guild portal will match guilds for 1v1 battles. Our matchmaking system pairs guilds based on performance data and number of players. We expect matching quality to improve over time as we gather more data.
Oh my god. The matchmaking at the very beginning is gonna be hell, bro.
Guilds must join with 36 to 48 players to participate. And we chose these numbers carefully because we believe requiring only 36 to 48 players should help ease some of the burden many guilds deal with when keeping players online for competitive PvP reasons.
God, this is how you know that like the devs are not like out of touch with the game that they play, because this has been like a worry that like a kind of like a stressor almost to like every guild, right? Because if you want to be competitive like as a guild in like higher tier PvP, you need to be like 70 out of 70 or close to it. It's comparing it to like games like, let's say, like New World, where you have a set number of people that can go in, and you can technically like merc people in. You can have people on your bench, for example. And I think this is like a really good change for the game, because now there's not as much like stress going into it. It just makes it so you don't always need to stress your entire guild to be 70 out of 70, because like now at least you can cycle in people 48 to have a bit of practice, and then have like, let's say, like your best players to represent your guild. You can have them in the 48v48. In the meantime, the rest of your other statics can join the second instance, where it's like more like random, more like the minion based, faction based, and they still get practice. They don't really miss out on a lot of practice if when it comes to like their micros and everything. So this is huge. Like this is, I didn't even think of this, to be honest with you, and this is way better than what I had in mind. It's a big W again
for
here
for
Throne.
We're offering the same
Holy
peace
shit.
and faction options, but will maintain their current open world presence for guild battles. This will preserve a worthy area for alliances to battle in that epic scale combat many of you love. We'll now also spawn 2 different arc bosses simultaneously to increase competitive opportunities.
Ooh.
Shifting over to gear acquisition and accessibility.
Hopefully it's one piece, one conflict, so there's like a lot more complicated strategies to be made, rather than just like 2-piece, 2 conflict.
We're making changes to improve player autonomy through weekly missions and token consolidation. We've heard from players that you want more control over which content to play to progress your characters. While we believe some content requirements are necessary to maintaining the core game loop, we agree there hasn't been enough flexibility or accessibility as we'd like. Here's what we're doing to address this, starting in the Tandre release. First, we're consolidating our various gear tokens. Abyss coins and dimensional soul shards will be consolidated into just 2 tokens, one for tier 1 gear and one for tier 2 gear.
Okay.
These will have specific names, but for now, I'll just refer to them as tier 1 tokens and tier 2 tokens.
All right.
At release, your existing currencies will be converted to tier 1 tokens. Moving forward, co-op dungeons and Abyss dungeon contracts will reward either tier 1 or tier 2 tokens based on the content you're completing. We're also diversifying where you can acquire these tokens.
Hopefully my like 1,000 plus like boxes don't go to waste, bro. Please don't waste my boxes.
You'll now be able to get them from the arena shop and the weekly mission menu. The weekly mission system has received an overhaul.
Then again, I don't think I'll be losing out, or people will be losing out anyway, because I think it's more incentive for them to gear it to a more like giving it more value, just because it's a better catch-up system than like going the other direction, right? And I don't think they would want that based on like the changes that they've made so far. So I'm really hopeful about this one. I think it's really good.
And this is a key step towards more player autonomy.
Nice.
The new system will offer over 15 different missions across PvE, PvP, and lifestyle content, each rewarding weekly points that count toward your milestone reward.
I love it when, like, some people may not agree with this, right? But like, I love it when a game rewards you for just playing the game, right? Because instead of giving me more stuff to do, more dailies, more weeklies, to get more progression, just reward me a little bit more extra for what I already do, right? I'm gonna be a lot happier. New players that are not gonna be as like the new players are not going to be as overwhelmed with like everything that they have to do, because there's such a long list in order to get like the maximized progression. But instead, this right here, this is sweet. Look at this: runes, ingredients. You get your crystals. You get your what is this, like is this like a T2 selection box? Holy, like T2's weapon selection box for like more traits and like your weapon of choice, so you can easily get more T2 weapons in case you want to diversify your build. This is nuts. This is really good.
Rewards, well, you'll earn the new Tier 2 tokens, amongst other rewards. The best part is that we've structured it so that there are more weekly points available than are needed to earn all the rewards.
Oh,
so
man.
you should have more flexibility to focus on doing the content you enjoy most. Over time, we'll plan to offer even more missions and further broaden the range of available objectives.
This is so
the next
good.
thing to improve gear accessibility is our field boss changes we just discussed. As you may have noticed, there will be more instances of bosses to fight over, which will increase loot accessibility and improve the auction house economy. This should be particularly beneficial for arc boss weapons, because while we want those to remain premium and special, we agree they haven't been as accessible as we'd like, and there is room for further distribution without removing their prestige.
Amen.
Finally, one more area to help with gear is a new system.
Because here's the thing, it's like these arc boss weapons, it's like they're really good, right? Like they should be. But the thing that I've observed is like I've seen people who just waste arc boss weapons. Number one, because like they just don't know how to play. They don't know how to press buttons, and it's such a waste seeing those arc boss weapons go to waste. Or number two, maybe they've diversified their build a little bit more. They've changed up their builds, and now they have like arc boss weapons sitting in their inventory, not even being used, not even being utilized, right? So that's kind of sad. So I think the move that they're making right now makes it so that like people won't be as hesitant to kind of diversify their build a little bit more. So there's going to be a slight increase in arc boss weapons coming into play, but I think that arc boss weapons kind of highlight the player that is already like good or bad, or just slightly kind of changes up your playstyle a little bit. So I think this move right here is perfect.
That allows you to synchronize one piece of gear's level.
And it also makes it more accessible to free to play. So
simply put,
that's always a good thing.
We want to give our players more freedom to experiment with different builds, something we consider a major strength of Throne and Liberty. So here's how it works. Once you've leveled a piece of gear to max level, that's plus 12 for tier 2 gear, you can place it into the new system as an anchor. Players can then unlock up to 2 slots per gear type to place other gear of the same type. For example,
holy shit! A tag system for your gear? Oh my god, man. Holy shit, what a chess move. Tico's fucking cooking, boys. You know, the whole struggle of T2 is that it's so expensive to diversify your build, because like it's just such a huge cost on growth stones and everything, and it's so expensive to do it. But with this change, they single-handedly made people be able to diversify their builds with a fraction of the like, holy shit, man. Oh my god. That's main weapon and 3 tags. That's more than enough for me to be able to play all of my specs. Brother, I can test out multiple builds in T2 with SNS bow. So much, holy, oh my god.
Chest. Any gear placed in these slots will immediately match the anchor's plus 12 level while slotted.
Oh, I'm assuming it does.
Slots
I'm assuming it doesn't copy traits though, which is fine. I'm completely fine with that. Like that's the plus 12, the growth stones are more than enough for me, buddy. I'm gonna be farming anyway.
Will have a one-time cost.
Holy
but
shit.
From there, you can freely swap gear forever after that. We think this will be a great long-term tool for players to feel more comfortable trying alternate weapons or testing new builds without having to sacrifice their existing gear through the current transfer system. Let's take a breather from systems and address cheating. Specifically, we're aware of the growing concerns regarding auto-blocking and PvP. And let me be clear, playing the game this way clearly violates our code of conduct, and we will issue disciplinary action against these players.
Good.
We're committed to maintaining a fair playing field, and we appreciate your help in reporting suspicious behavior and discouraging these practices amongst your friends and teammates. Let's get into combat. After multiple rounds of focused testing, we're thrilled with the results. Here are the primary finalized changes that are coming. Player movement speed will no longer be automatically reduced in combat.
Oh.
We've increased base melee
Oh,
attack
hell
ranges.
yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Several skills have been updated for improved fluidity.
Oh
Tab
my
targeting has
God.
been improved to better consider camera direction to give a more intuitive targeting response. Click targeting has also been further refined for
Holy. Player movement will no longer be automatically reduced in combat. Hell yeah. We've increased base melee attack ranges. Amen. Several skills have been updated for improved fluidity, such as precision dash and frost smokescreen. Tab targeting has been improved to better consider camera direction. Hallelujah. Click targeting has also been further refined for accuracy and precision, and we're also bringing a new setting that will allow players to ignore friendly targets when clicking. Holy, this right here has been like a huge like annoyance of mine for the few times that I've actually like converted over to classic mode and just click target. This is huge. Holy shit. Character inertia has been reduced. I always didn't like I never liked inertia. Like BDO tried this and it was horrendous. They reverted to this change like immediately. Maximum zoom has been increased by 33%. I can only imagine how much zoom you'll have in like an arc boss fight.
accuracy and precision. And we're also bringing a new setting that will allow players to ignore friendly targets when clicking. Character inertia has been reduced, and the maximum zoom has been increased by 33%. While not available at launch, by early April, we will also introduce improved target visualization, target of target display, and monster type indicators on nameplates. Shifting to dynamic events, we've made updates to increase rewards and better tailor activity point distribution. We've heard your two main concerns. First, that dynamic events don't feel rewarding enough for the time investment needed to properly participate. And second, that our PvP players are experiencing activity grind fatigue due to how dynamic events contribute to activity points. To address these issues, starting March 6th, we're increasing the rewards for the first 15 dynamic events you do per week, ensuring players get more value when they choose to engage with this content. And since activity points are primarily a tool to help with high-performing PvP guilds, we've made two changes to help with both fun and fatigue. We're capping activity points at 15 events per week, and then we're adjusting the amount of activity points earned so that they prioritize guild events, followed by Dominion, then Peace, and finally co-op modes. We believe this new structure will give PvP players more freedom to participate in the modes that naturally align with their preferred content, while still maintaining meaningful progression. Now,
bro, it's just been W after W after W in this Tico talks, bro. Tico's cooking, brother.
Let's talk raid frames. As Godspeed mentioned in last week's Eye on Elysium, raid frames are coming, and I'm happy to share they will arrive on March 13th.
Bro, every healer right now, like probably like ejaculating right now.
Raid frames will be available during guild raids, field bosses, conquest battles, arc bosses, and castle sieges, which should help all of our players, but especially shot callers and healers. Looking further ahead to early April, we're completely overhauling rune management.
Now I don't have to ask how the fight is going because I'll see it. Like if we're all dying, then we're like, fight's not going good, I regroup.
We understand the frustration the current rune management system causes. Our new approach fully removes inventory management needed for runes. Instead, even the sorting right now is kind of cooked. Like even like the categorization of it is kind of cooked right now. So I'm glad they're actually addressing this. Runes will be tracked in a simplified UI where you can apply each rune type and stat combination to as many items as you want. New runes will automatically level or dissolve, and I can't wait to share more details on this topic next month, so look forward to that. We're happy to inform all of our console players that in early Q2, we are bringing the ability to edit your HUD with controller.
Holy shit. That was the #1 complaint that controller players had before this game launched, and it's actually coming now. Everybody's eating tonight.
I want to address a question I've seen frequently in our community. How are new and returning players supposed to catch up if you didn't do a Hyperboost server? Our approach is that catch-up mechanics should be core game features.
Yes! That's what I've been saying, bro. The reason why TNL is going to be really good for new players is because systematically the catch-up mechanic is there, and it's easier for people to get, like, when you think about it, right? Like a fresh level 50 player, what does he do? Like with his Abyssal, is he goes to grind open world dungeons. And guess what he gets? The same gear end game players are getting. And it's so easy for a new player to catch up because systematically, the way that TNL works, it makes it easy for new players to catch up in gear. They don't have to do certain things, like, let's say, like games like Black Desert, for example. No hate and no shade towards Black Desert, bro, but the system that Black Desert has is pretty dog water. Black Desert relies on giving new players free tier 9 tier 10 horses, or like free pen black stars as giveaways of like coupons and like events and stuff. Why can't that be like core features and like just systemically a better progression feature for new players? And that's exactly the edge that TNL has. No other game does it better than TNL when it comes to just systemically making progression really, really good and really fast and respectful of like new players' times to get to the level where they can compete in higher tier like PvP or PvE.
We want them to be part of our whole community, experiencing the game alongside everyone else. Let's talk about how we're making this work. First, let's consider gear progression. Because Tandre is releasing at the same time as Tier 2 gear, this creates a natural reset point for all players. And we genuinely believe this is one of the best times for new and returning players to jump back into the game and start fresh alongside everyone else. However, we recognize that having a full set of Tier 1 gear could still feel like a big advantage. And that's why we're introducing Tier 2 rare gear, or Tier 2 blue gear, which will be stronger than most Tier 1 purples. This provides a natural bridge for players who don't have their full Tier 1 sets available. We've also carefully balanced the Adventure Codex rewards so that any player who completes the full Adventure Codex...
Getting those things like drop for you is meaningful. Like as a new player and you're getting that new content, let's say like you have a friend, right? Like your friend is trying to help you out. And, you know, instead of like being able to trade gear in this game, like how, like in the olden days, they could carry you through like Tier 2 Tandre open world dungeons, and you could get, like, even if you don't get the purple ones right away, like at the very least, like within the first day, you'll have like a decent set at the very least of just like blue gear that is better than T1 gear, which naturally just helps bridge you to catch up to people that have been playing T2, which is amazing, which is great, because it feels like your grind, even on the first day, is already like meaningful. Like you don't have to grind like a full month just to have some sort of like catch up. It was like, oh, I grinded for a month nonstop, now I'm like 50% of the way there to catch up to people. It's like, it's not, bro. Like this is great.
We'll earn nearly a complete set of Tier 2 gear with a mix of blues and purples. Beyond gear progression, we're also introducing exclusive buffs and daily login rewards specifically for new and returning players to help them catch up.
Nice.
We believe this comprehensive approach will help players join our community and get up to speed without feeling like they're permanently behind or isolated on a separate server. To end things, I just want to say thank you all again for your feedback and support. I can't wait for you to get your hands on this expansion. It is packed with so much great content and system improvements. I think you're really, truly going to enjoy it.
It is packed with great system improvements.
We love having open communication with our community and are committed to maintaining that.
That is actually the first time that an existing games like dev has said that, and I actually believe it, just because every single time there's been like Tico talks, like stuff like this about new systems coming in, it's always, and this is like not just like from NA, by the way, this is like all the way back from like when Korea started, that it's always been the community's biggest complaints and biggest like concerns. So you know that number one, either they listen and they actually implement the changes needed to be made. Number two, they actually play their game so they feel it the same way that the player base feels it. Or number three, they do both, right? Which is, man, I wish New World devs did the same thing. Rest in peace to that game.
And now for our community question. If you could expand our cosmetic offerings in just one way, what would it be?
If you could expand our cosmetic offerings in one way, what would it be? Auras. It would be auras.